On to legal challenges surrounding social media censorship. State attorneys general from Missouri and Louisiana are asking a Trump-appointed judge to depose top government officials. The AGs allege the Biden administration was deeply involved in censoring users on big tech platforms. Our next guest outlines how these depositions could play out. Joining us now is Mike Davis, the founder and president of the Article 3 Project and the Internet Accountability Project. Mike is also the former chief counsel for nominations to Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley. Pleasure having you on the show, Mike.
Thank you for having me.
I would really like to know if it's actually possible for top government officials such as President Joe Biden and Dr. Anthony Fauci to be deposed, or do they have some sort of immunity that would allow them to avoid testifying?
It's certainly possible for almost all government officials to be deposed in lawsuits. The president is treated differently. The president does enjoy some immunity from depositions while he is serving in office. It's not absolute. We saw with Bill Clinton in the Paula Jones case back in 1998 that it's possible for the president to have to testify in courts on cases, but it's rare, and it would be a very, very heightened standard when you're dealing with the president, because it would be such a distraction for the president of the United States. He is the executive under the Constitution.
You mentioned former presidents. What is the precedent to a case like this?
Well, the state AGs have brought lawsuits against the federal government overreach many, many times. What's so impressive about this lawsuit from Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt and Louisiana Attorney General Jeff Landry, along with several doctors, a journalist, Jim Hoff from Gateway Pundit, just everyday Americans, is they're really pushing back against the Biden administration's clearly unconstitutional censorship of Americans under the guise of COVID misinformation and disinformation. And what this lawsuit clearly lays out is this was a government-wide enterprise across the Biden administration, across many departments and agencies, and it's clearly illegal under the First Amendment what they have done. They are colluding with these big tech monopolists to Google, Facebook, Twitter. They're colluding with these big tech platforms to censor Americans. And the reason these big tech platforms are doing it is they have Section 230 immunity, this tremendous benefit from the federal government where they cannot get sued for what people post on their platforms. And the government threatens their Section 230 immunity and threatens their antitrust amnesty if they don't do the government's censorship. They don't do the government's bidding. And this is a clear First Amendment violation, and it's very good that the Louisiana and the Missouri state attorneys general have brought this lawsuit.
It has been hard to get a statement from the other side. The FBI declined to comment. The other agencies have not responded to comments. How significant would it be if President Biden or any of the others were made to testify?
I mean, it's pretty clear that these other officials can testify, and they probably will testify. This is potentially illegal conduct on their part. What they're doing, they're conspiring to deprive Americans of their constitutional rights, their civil rights. And so this is pretty damning evidence. If this turns out to be true, what they're alleging in this lawsuit, this is very damning evidence, and the courts need to step in and end this censorship regime immediately. It's clearly unconstitutional. It's clearly illegal. The government is colluding with big tech platforms to censor Americans, and it is damaging. And they have shown repeatedly that this so-called misinformation, disinformation ends up being correct. We saw this with mask mandates. We saw this with Hunter Biden's laptop. We've seen this in instant after instant after instant, where the left claims misinformation and disinformation, and it ends up being true.
Well, we're definitely going to keep a close eye on this. Mike Davis, the founder and president of the Article 3 Project, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.